I know this might look like your typical Escalade, but let me assure you, it is far from that. This is the pinnacle of GM luxury. This is the ESV Platinum. So you're probably asking yourself, why on earth would you buy such a raging pile of junk? And I'll tell you why. Because this is the holy grail of GMT 800 trucks and SUVs. So what is it that makes the Platinum different than just a normal Escalade ESV, or even just a normal Escalade itself? Well, there's actually quite a few differences. And what it is since this was GM's top of the line luxury SUV at the time, they guinea pigged a lot of different ideas that you can end up seeing made its way into their other platforms coming forward, like the GMT 900s and so on. So there's a lot of unique things on these that you just can't find on any other GMT 800. So let's take a look at everything that makes this vehicle so unique. So starting with the exterior of the vehicle, our first thing we got is the grille. At first glance, you would never think that there's anything special about the grille, but as you look closer, there is one big difference. It is solid chrome, whereas every other Escalade would have a painted silver grille. Even though it's not a big change, it's still a nice, unique touch, and it does give it a lot better look. As we make our way back, next up, we have the wheels. The wheels are unique to say the least. These chrome 20-inch wheels was the first Escalades that ever had 20s put on them, whereas your typical normal Escalade would have the 17-inch chrome wheels. Personally, I will say, I think they're quite ugly. I don't like them at all, but it is a unique thing to the Platinum, and it's never been seen before, and it was never really seen again. The only other difference on the Platinum's exterior is just our nice little emblem that lets everyone know how luxurious you were back in the day. These right here are probably our most sought after pieces on the Platinum, and it's these little AC vents with just one tiny detail that sets them apart from normal GMT 800 vents. One of the most iconic pieces on the Platinum is the vents. Even though it's just a slight change from your standard GMT 800 vehicles with the ribbed nub that you adjust, these have a little chrome insert in them. It's a super subtle change, but these inserts are extremely sought after. And sticking with the dash, next thing we got is the dash itself. Even though the dash is the same shape, style, and design as every other Escalade there is, the only difference is that it is all one solid color and it is black. It is not the dark gray that you would find in other GMT 800 vehicles. It is an actual black. Did someone say door panels? Even though very similar to the other Escalade door panels, these do have a few slight differences. The first being at the armrest part, you do have an extra wood grain layer, and then up above you have a nice leather design. But the most noticeable and iconic part of these door panels would definitely have to be the speaker covers. They have a beautiful looking chrome ring around them that you had never seen on any other GMT 800 before. Now the next two things are probably two of the coolest things about these Platinums. The first one being our full center console. As we look at the console, you can kind of see the pattern here that not much changes, it's just very subtle things. Like the first would be where they have took out the cubby hole and placed it with our heated and cold controls. And the second being down at our cup holders, we now for the first time ever have seen heated and cooled cup holders in a GM vehicle. And that brings us to the final thing on the Platinum, the seats. As you look at the Platinum seats, you might think, well, they look absolutely identical to any other Escalade seat. Well, that's because they are. They don't look any different. There's only one notable difference about them. They are heated and cooled. Now, GM had already done plenty of leather seats that were heated, but this is the first time that GM had done cooled seats. So even though the only differences with these Platinums and a normal Escalade is just cosmetic details, these Escalades are no joke. This is like the best GMT 800 SUV you can get. You get the 6.0, you get the 4L65, which is just a normal 4L60, but it has the upgraded planetary in it. And then you get the all-wheel drive, which is just an awesome combination. These Cadillacs in general are just, they're no joke of a vehicle. But with a $71,000 price tag when these things were brand new, about $15,000 more than just your standard ESV, was it really worth it to get just a few extra cool features? Don't get me wrong, it's awesome, but that's a lot of extra money for just a few little cosmetic details. But it's worth it to me because 20 years later, these things have no value to them. Escalades in general really don't have as much value as like the Tahoes and Yukons. So finding a Platinum, that's a pretty sweet little deal. So if you're still asking yourself, why on earth would you buy this thing? Well, that's a very valid question because this thing's a pile of crap, but I do have good reasons. So there's three main reasons why I was wanting to find a Platinum. Besides the fact that I just wanted to be able to say I owned a Platinum, I also needed something that was a good vehicle I could drive this winter, be in the salt, be in the snow, just something I wasn't worried about. I was trying to find a rusty, didn't have to be a Platinum, I just wanted a rusty vehicle in general. That way I didn't have to worry about ruining it if it was already ruined. But finding the Platinum, I wanted the 6.0 out of it for my GMC. I'm fixing to start back on it and get it going on it, and it's a V6, so I needed a motor for it, and the Escalade checks all that off. I can pull the drivetrain out when I'm done with it and put it in the GMC and we'll be good there. The other reason is my extended cab. With me starting to get it all wrapped up and get it back on the road, it's gonna be time to do the interior next. And I wanted to always do a Platinum interior, and this is just the perfect vehicle because I don't have to pay a top dollar for Platinum parts, because if you know how much those go for, it's ridiculous. So being able to find that, I can put it in my extended cab, do the Platinum interior like I've always wanted without having to spend a ton of extra money. So it worked out really good. So this way I can have a winter vehicle, I can have the drivetrain for my GMC, and when it's all said and done, I can have the interior for my extended cab. So no, the Platinum's not staying around forever, but it is staying around for now. But if I'm gonna drive it this winter, there is a lot of things that I gotta do to be able to get it back on the road, because it is far from being able to drive down the road safely. So in the next video, we're gonna do everything we gotta do to get this thing fixed so we can drive it down the road. So I guess that's gonna wrap it up here then. I know it wasn't a very long video, but I've always wanted a Platinum and I was pretty excited, and I want to make a video about it because they're just really cool and you honestly don't see them too often. But if you've ever had one of them, drop a comment below, let me know. I don't know a ton of people that have, but it's always cool to find out, you know, what all people have ever had. And I want to say also, sorry for the inconsistent uploading. I've had quite a big project going on that hopefully will be getting wrapped up soon, but I've been really having to focus on that, and it's been a lot. So I've not really had a chance to do too much and really make any videos. So I do want to apologize for just the odd uploading of videos. But if you enjoyed the video, drop a like. I always really appreciate it. And if you learned something about these Platinums, or maybe you didn't even know they existed, consider subscribing, because I absolutely love these GMT 800 trucks and SUVs, and I'm always doing weird and odd things or buying random vehicles like this. So there'll be more. I got plenty of things I plan on doing, and in the next video, or next video of this Escalade, I'm gonna be fixing it, getting it back on the road so we can drive it and actually use it. So either way, I appreciate it, and I'll see you in another video.